Hi there, and welcome back to Weird Soda for Life. Hey, do you know how the ocean says goodbye? It doesn't say anything at all, it just gives a little wave. Ah? Ah? Ah, you get it. Anyway, welcome back. Today we are trying a Coca-Cola creation called K-Wave, which is supposed to embody K-pop. um, as you can see, I have a box in front of me. It's pretty cool. I thought we'd open up the box together and see what Coca-Cola has sent us. Um, well, and by us, I mean me. But first, let's talk a little bit about K-pop. If you're like me, an elder millennial who grew up in the late 90s and early 2000s, you're probably familiar with J-pop, which is Japanese pop, or at least I am because I watched a lot of Toonami because my parents were kind enough to get a satellite dish, and uh, I spent a lot of afternoons at home. But if you know about J-pop, you may not necessarily know about K-pop, which K-pop, short for Korean pop, if you couldn't guess, uh, started around the same time as my elder millennial memories. And just like me, didn't start reaching its final form until the late 90s and early 2000s. Kind of starting off with a company called SM Entertainment. They created these groups called HOT and SES in the late 90s. Uh, I sort of imagine them as the Korean Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. I have no like background for that. I just sort of envisioned it in my mind that that's what was happening. And so, and just kind of like our boy bands of the late 90s, focusing on choreography, fashion, like the a whole experience, not just singing, uh, a whole like package, right? Whereas America kind of pivoted away from boy and girl groups like by the mid aughts, right? Korea didn't. They actually even doubled down. Companies like YG Entertainment and JYP Entertainment, which I've actually heard of, which I don't know what that says about me. Uh, they start producing other like K-pop bands like Big Bang and Wonder Girls. I actually have heard of those too. Um, and but currently, like if you think about K-pop, I mean, you think about those as like not predecessors, but like sort of the same way that we would view, well, frankly, probably the Backstreet Boys compared to some of our current iterations of pop stars. Um, the current K-pop wave, K-wave, as we know it, kind of took off in the 2010s. So bands like Girls' Generation, who I've heard of, Super Junior, uh, EXO, and BTS. Everybody has heard of BTS, and if you haven't heard of BTS, well, you're one of the lucky 10,000 today. But also, they are everywhere. uh, Selling records, selling out in Vegas, traveling all over the world. Like, it's a whole thing. I don't know how best to describe it other than it being a whole thing. And honestly, if you have a little time, dig into the whole K-pop like industry. It's utterly fascinating how they create these bands, and there's always like everybody's got like a kind of a character, like the bad boy or the sweet one or the and then for the girls too, they have stuff like that as well. So I'm leaning more towards the men on this one, but the girls have that too. They have these stereotypes, and like they engage and create these like I I'm gonna call it artificial, but that's not quite what I mean. For the fans, it's not artificial how they feel about these. They call them idols. How they feel about their idols. Um, but what the industry does to create that feeling of like um, very parasocial, right? It's utterly interesting to me. I would highly recommend looking it up. It's also a very cutthroat industry for these artists, and it's very, very hard on them. It's not a particularly healthy environment, but um, it's it's incredible what they do. And I, for one, look forward to the day that C-pop or W-pop is just as popular. What is that, you ask? It's me. I'm C-pop. Okay, don't call me that. but but seriously, these Korean groups have like reality shows and stuff. It's really really cool. It's you could lose hours, days, like studying all of this. Um, so with that, let's hope that this is just as meaningful, or at least as interesting as some of this stuff. With that, I wanted to kind of give you guys the experience. You're like, what is this on top of the box? So when it showed up, I got these cool stickers. Perfect for any trapper keeper that you can stick on. Maybe put it in your locker. I also got this K-Wave limited edition. I'm going to show it to you in a minute, but I'm going to read it to you first. We are delighted to invite you to the Coca-Cola K-Wave concert, a celebration of the infinite passion and dedication of K-pop fandom. While the event takes place in Korea, you can join from anywhere in the world through online streaming. Let's create iconic moments together that transcend the boundaries of both online and offline. And then there's a QR code because that is what Coca-Cola does now. Let's see, maybe you can use that, folks out there. But that's what Coca-Cola does now. It's all about virtual experiences with these creations. Again, I don't get it. I just want to drink a soda. Um, with that, let's take a look at the box. I think this is pretty cool. Um, so you can see Coca-Cola, right? And in Korean as well. The box is really, really cool. And with that, let's take a look. Let's open up this bad boy. Ah, ah. This is pretty cool. Check this out. Oh, fruity fantasy flavored K-Wave. But like that's really, really cool. I will say kudos to Coca-Cola for keeping this stuff relatively inexpensive. This was $10. Like, and I know you're like, you spent $10 on like 4 cans of Coke. I know. Believe me, I know what I do for you all. But the boxing is cool. The artistry is neat. Like, I think this is very impressive. And then in here, right? So we have this, um, right? We talked about, and then we have the cans of Coca-Cola. How cool is that? We're just gonna pull one out, right? So we can show. There we go. And the rest of you, because I'm particular, I'm gonna put this back. Put this over here for now. Okay. So let's take a look at the can. Like, I really like these colors a lot. It feels, I don't know, I really like the pastels. I like the purple and green. It does feel very like, I don't know, like a wave. But I think this is a really cool design. It really honors both the Korean influence, um, while also maintaining the iconic Coca-Cola symbol. And then also I want to note again, because it is zero sugar, the font is in black. So they keep that consistent as well. I really like this color scheme. If this was a shirt, I'd probably wear it. With that, let's see what we've gotten ourselves into. I was gonna get a glass because I thought to myself, what if it's a different color? But it's not, guys. It's brown, so like you're not missing a whole lot visually. Um, I just spilled on myself. See, this is how you know I'm doing it live. Well, that's fun. But ugh, now it's on my face. I'm trying not to taste it before I taste it. Um, but that kind of tells me too. I was trying to see if it smelled like anything, and it smells just like zero sugar Coke. So with that, bottoms up and down and on the desk. Actually, we're gonna pause for a second before I try this because I don't want this to set. I will, I will be right back once I clean this up. New shirt, who dis? Yeah, I switched out my shirt and I cleaned up the wet spot. All right, and now let's try this. That was the cat. Um, I don't know what I think of that. It's not bad. It is very heavily Coca-Cola zero sugar. Um, and there is something fruity about it. It's sweet. I'm trying to think of maybe it kind of reminds me a lot of the Coca-Cola Creation, the Dreamland one. Um, the one where there was like a faux fruit laying on top of the mango of the Coke, and it was kind of mangoey. This is not mangoey. It's not citrusy, but it is like maybe melony a little bit. Um, I don't think the flavors play well together. It's not that it's bad. It's this is going to sound very odd. It's as if I taste the zero sugar, and then there's an absence in which I taste something equivalent to water, and then the fruit flavor shows up. It's almost as if they don't mix. Um, it was $10 for four. I'm not gonna beat it up. And again, we try a lot of these because they're unique. We don't try them because we're expecting like the most amazing, mind blowing one. I mean, truly, the only one that I've ever truly, truly loved was that Coca Cola Move one. Um, as with all of these sorts of things, I think if you have the cash and you're willing to spend it, it's worth trying. Um, but it's just Coca Cola Zero Sugar with a nondescript, bland fruit flavor. Um, if that's what a K-pop concert is like, I don't know if I want to go because I'm afraid I'll get bored. But I also know, having seen concerts and things like that, that that's not what a K-pop concert is like. But yeah, if this was a K-pop concert in my hand, I would have left probably after the first act. Take it or leave it. Um, with that, next week we are going to the well that never fails us. That's right, it's time for another food-based soda. Love that for us. We are trying peanut butter and jelly soda. Um, I'm looking forward to it, if only because at least it will be sweet and like probably overwhelmingly so. Until next time, drink weird and I don't know, practice some dance moves. Maybe you can get a following on the internet somewhere. See you next time.